Hello, and this is my My name is Delaney Reyes, and this is my persuasive speech outline on Humane Cosmetics Act of 2025. Imagine yourself going through a regular cosmetics store like Ulta or Sephora, and grabbing all of your favorite products. And when you look at the back, in the ingredients line, you catch yourself paying more attention to where it says cruelty free. And just by those words, it makes you want to buy the product even more. But when you get home and wonder if the product is actually cruelty free, you decide to look it up just to find out that the product that you bought is not cruelty free. Normally, when someone thinks that an animal testing for cosmetics would be unharmful, but actually the animals are going through are getting subjected to having chemicals dripped into their eyes and rubbed into shaved skin. When you actually look up how many products are used for animal testing, you would be shocked, and just imagine that there are millions of products that say cruelty free, but only a few actually are. But no one could do anything about it because it's technically legal. Years later, someone decided to create a bill that stops people from using animals as testing for cosmetics, which would help the animals because allowing this bill to pass means that all continuing testing on animals comes to a stop. The problem. Animal testing has been a standard scientific and medical practice for so long that the government has begun regulating the reason why cosmetic brands are allowed to test on animals, just because the brands want to fulfill consumer safety claims and avoid legal liability if a product irritates or harms a user. At ADA Cosmetics, a specialized personal care products and hygiene system deep dive more into what animal testing and cosmetics really are. They state it involves various experiments that are carried out during the product development phase to test the properties and safety of individual cosmetic ingredients or the finished product itself. These tests normally are supposed to test for toxicity levels of a chemical, and they also observe the reaction time for each product. Most of the time, mice, rats, rabbits, and guinea pigs are tested on. An animal research article says that the reason why mice and rats are mostly tested on is because that they are the closest to share biological and genetic similarities with us humans. Animal testing is so common that because every cosmetic brand is required to have human trials before releasing any product. Instead of humans, they would usually use animals just because they have a better way to assess safety without it being harmful to humans. Usually the government won't do anything about it because animal testing has been used for so long that they don't really see a problem with it. Now that I've talked about what the problem is, let's look into our solution. The U.S. government should pass the Humane Cosmetic Act of 2025. This bill was introduced on February 27, 2025, and sponsored by our representative for Virginia's 8th Congressional District of the Democratic Party. In the bill, it says it shall be unlawful to unknowingly sell, offer for sale, or transport to interstate commerce in the United States, making it known to everyone that no one is allowed to sell animal-tested products. If the U.S. government passes this bill, it will be restricted to the use of animal testing for all cosmetics by making it legal to test on any animals and offering other uses highly likely advanced alternative methods. This federal bill is important because if it becomes a law, then all the scientists will be restricted from all animal testing and stop hurting any animals. Having this bill made a law will prevent any animals from being tortured and used for experiments, even if it makes sure that products are good for humans. This bill will save thousands of animals, no matter how big or how small, and gives them a chance to live in nature or find a loving home for them. Now that I've talked about the solution, let's look at our visualization. If we pass this bill, the positive outcomes that will occur would be It will require every industry to rely on modern, non-animal testing alternatives and animal welfare. This bill will also tell everyone of the well-being of the animals that we're being tested on and the products that have real cruelty-free that are able to buy. If this bill doesn't pass, however, animal testing will still be legal and many animals will be forced into experiments, being forced to put things in their eyes and their bare skin, like I said. In the article Rise for Animals, it states countless animals will continue to endure painful, outdated, and unethical experiments just so brands can sell their own cosmetic brands. Now that I've covered visualization, let's look at our action step. In order to make this bill an official law, we must contact the representation Donald Bayer. To contact Mr. Bayer, we can go to his website, which is bayersofficialwebsite.com, and press contact and send him an email. Another way to contact him is by going to one of his socials, which is TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X, which is also linked in his website, and contact him there. To wrap up everything we talked about what animal testing is, what the major problem animal testing brings us, our solution to the problem, the outcome of this bill, on whether this bill is to be passed or not, and what could happen to the animals in the end if this bill does not get passed. To be able to protect the animals we care about, we need the Humane Cosmetic Act of 2025 to be passed. After all this, I would encourage you to reach out to Mr. Bayer and voice out all your opinions on this situation. Thank you.